I attempted the world's first ever Pokémon TCG Nuzlocke. In this particular concept, that is. So, to determine which Pokemon would be eligible for capture, I took 6 various sets of Pokemon packs, rolled a dice, and that was a pack to determine my encounter. Simple enough. There's a bit more to it. Of course, I didn't go based off the Pokemon themselves, but instead the typing of the energy card and the last rare's primary and secondary typing. Of course, I could only catch the first type I run into, but keep in mind, some of these packs don't contain an energy card. You're also not always guaranteed a Pokemon as your last rare card, so it wasn't a guaranteed 3 types for each route. I even threw in some dollar packs to make it more challenging and potentially get nothing. As you know, you're not always guaranteed a specific type on any route in a randomizer, so the randomizer helped in a sense to get different typings of encounters for each route. Not only that, but Pokemon TCG doesn't include all the different types of Pokemon such as flying, poison, ice, and a few others. So there's the reasoning for me going based off both the energy and the last rare's primary and secondary typing, just for more coverage. Other than that, the rest of the rules of a traditional Nuzlocke still applied. Nicknames, 1 mon per route, the Pokemon faints, it's considered dead, and so on. These rules, along with my own, were definitely set up for a great experience. Right? Right? Right?
Right.
Now with all the rules out of the way, let's get into how the run went in our very first ever randomized Nuzlocke. Now we all know the lock doesn't start until you actually get Pokeballs, so we did have one exception. Our starter was the only Pokemon we were allowed to freely choose. We didn't have much going on for us, except for this Grovyle, so of course we chose the Grovyle. I'm not the best when it comes to nicknames, but this name just came to me. No particular reason at all. Is I have the song Speckled Frogs stuck in my head. With Speck on our team, we were ready for anything. After getting the Pokedex and delivering mail like an errand boy for the intro quest, we finally got to test Speck's skills, that's a tongue twister, in a real battle against our rival. Of course, it wasn't really a real battle.
Prepare to die.
And then after getting interrogated and falsely accused for a crime that we didn't commit, we got to rat on the real culprit. Why am I saying that like it's a good thing? Let's just name him Gay. We want him to be happy. We want him to be a happy rival. Finally, with all the blah 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 out of the way, we got to bust open our first pack of the series, which we uploaded as shorts. Now with our potential typings, the hunt was on. And of course, I failed to recognize that there's no fairy types in this gen. Finally, our first encounter was a Jolteon. This was gonna be epic. Or so I thought. Son of a Blastoise. One more Pokeball. Okay. Alright, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
And no pack meat!
Not the best start, but we did have another encounter coming up, which happened to be a Monferno. Our luck turned around, adding another starter to the team.
How the turntables.
Luffy was definitely going to be an asset to the team, if he had any other ability, that is. Our next encounter was a Mothim, which wasn't too hard to catch, of course. But for our Route 31, we were in for a treat. There was so many good Pokemon that we ran into, but we couldn't catch any of them because they didn't match our typings. Even our first encounter was a Jirachi. Kind of feeling bummed of what our could have been Pokemon, this next encounter was totally awesome. You know, let's check this route one more time. Let's check this patch of grass one time. Let's see what we can get. Just one more time. Let's see. Oh, let's go! Let's go, a Totodile! See what I did there? Totodile. Never mind. Did have a really close call trying to catch this Totodile. That scared me. My heart fell out of my butt. My heart just dropped down to my butt. We have to catch him right here. Come on, Totodile. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, let's go.
It is small but rough and tough. It won't hesitate to take a bite out of your ass. Man, this dude be chomping on booty butts.
With Chomper on the team, we moved on to sweep through Bellsprout Tower, where we unfortunately had to forfeit our encounter due to a dollar pack. Told you those dollar packs would come back to haunt me. Next up was getting our first gym badge, Faulkner. Randomizers are always scary. You never know what your opponent may have. But we took out the first Pokemon with ease. It's when he sent in Macargo when things really started to heat up. Pretty confident in Chomper, I stayed in with him. Chomps definitely did some damage, but so did Macargo. Almost about to lose Chomper, I panicked and switched into Mothim. What? I said I panicked. Mothman was able to live a hit, thankfully, and since Macargo was barely holding on by 1 HP, I knew I had to take a risk. I sent in Spec, praying that he wouldn't go for a fire type move. Luckily, he went for a rock throw and Spec ate it up. And finished the battle with a quick attack. With the Zephyr badge under our belt, we moved on to receive our egg and our next encounter. Our next encounter was a bit intimidating, but luckily this Palkia was only level 4, so Chomper was taking those hits like a champ. What the? Stop, that tickles! It took a while, but yep, we caught the Palkia and named it Alice, after another great content creator, Alice in Poké Wonderland. With Alice on our team, we'd be unstoppable. And shortly after, Chomper evolved, gaining the new randomized ability Overgrow. Not too helpful. Moving on to Union Cave, our next encounter was potentially another great content creator, Gato G, but we killed the Apom. After murdering one of my friends, we moved on to get the next encounter on the other side of Union Cave, which ended up just being one type. Only having one type definitely made it difficult to try to find an encounter to match. Just as I was about to give up, we finally got our encounter. As tempted as I was to add Bone Thugs to the team, I wanted to give Luffy a chance to get rid of that normalized ability. Heading into Slowpoke, well, we didn't get our encounter until after taking on Team Rocket, but it ended up being a Lucario with Anger Point. I kill you! Went ahead and replaced Mothman for Lucci and headed to take on Bugsy. I led with Luffy, which was a bad call because Bug Boy led with a ghost Pokemon. Luffy's normalized ability definitely screwed us on this one.
Oh shit, not good.
I switched out to our newly evolved Chomper. Spiritomb went down and we easily beat the second Pokemon. Bug Boy was about to send out Blaziken, so I wasn't gonna chance it, and I sent in Alice to one shot. Now with the hype badge, we were on a roll. Of course, shortly after, we had yet another rival battle that was a bit more difficult this time around, now that his Bellsprout evolved. Rap and Poison Troll literally had me in a bind. As soon as I was able to send out the big guns, which Weeping Bell immediately put to sleep, but Alice woke up just in time to initiate the final blow. And this happened.
Let's check our adventure items. We do have a route coming up here. Oh, whoa. What is going on? What the hell is going on? Yo, look at that slope. Look at that slope. Is that a Slowpoke or is that supposed to be a person? What the hell? I don't remember what was standing here. Was it a Slowpoke? It's a Slowpoke. It's a Slowpoke person.
Next in Ilex Forest, we unfortunately didn't run into the one typing we had, but luckily on Route 34, we had two types and got a Suicune, who was definitely difficult to catch, but nevertheless, we caught it and named it Mike, after Pokeballer Mike, another great content creator. It was time to get our next badge. In the middle of battling the gym trainers, our egg began to hatch.
So, oh, the egg is gonna hatch.
Which is technically a given Pokemon, but we decided to open up an additional pack for eggs and fossils. Well, fortunately we had 3 types for this Mon, and we were able to hold on to our little Willy. Heading into battle with Whitney, she led with a Crobat, and I led with Spec. Ooh, fuck this, I'm out. And switched out immediately. I sent out Alice to take that Batarang down. Weeping Bell was coming out next, and even though Luffy wasn't super effective due to his ability, I knew he could handle it. It trolled again with status moves and rap, trying to whittle us down little by little, but Luffy wasn't having it. Finally finished it off and beat Whitney. After whiny Whitney was done blubbering like a big baby, she finally gave us our 3rd badge, the plain badge. We got a few more encounters after that, a Rhyperior, a Scizor, which I accidentally killed, and of course, a Charizard with Drizzle. Of course, we still had to catch it and name it Mount Killy after Mount Kilimanjaro. Yes, another amazing content creator. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of these Pokemon are being named after content creators whose links will be in the description, so make sure you go show them some love and check them out. Next, we got an Exploud as our Sudowoodo encounter. We got an Electrode, who we named OPB after old Pokeballs, and you guessed it, another content creator. And in the Ruins of Alph, we ended up just getting one type again, but it came in pretty clutch since we ended up getting a Meganium with Download. Before moving on to Burnt Tower and to battle Morty for our next gym badge, I felt like we needed some training, so I went ahead and added OPB to the team for diversity and decided to get our next encounter as well.
So let's go. So Lax went on to train, and train he did. But that shit was so boring, we cut most of it out of the vid. I mean, come on. Who wants to see a buffoon battle 7 Drifloon? Not I. Then Lax recalled there was a new route nearby. He'd remember sooner if he wasn't so high. He knew there'd be stronger encounters to grind his team faster. He's smarter than your average fat bastard. But before passing through the new route's gates, first he had to stock up, for a new encounter awaits. So he went to grab some Pokeballs from the Poke Shop, then realized they had no Ultra Balls in stock. No Ultra Balls to buy? What a damn pity. So he decided to take the trip to Goldenrod City. Twiddly-dee, twiddly-doo. I guess it's off to Goldenrod City we go. So Lax made it back like we had any doubt, but nothing interesting happened, so we cut that shit out. Alright, so we got an encounter right here, Route 38, Dark, Bug, and Psychic. Let's see what we get. We could train up right here, and yeah, hopefully grind up a little more. I just want to get up a couple of levels, and that is a Leron. Let's bitch slap him. Bitch slap. So Lax decided to speed up just for a bit, you see. He thought while he grinds, he'll get his encounter eventually. But as the sun began to set and time dragged on, it didn't seem likely that he'd catch a new mon. Pokemon, that is. And battle after battle, lap after lap, it seemed to be the same encounters for Lax to bitch slap. Look at that bitch slap. That's a strong bitch slap. He began to lose hope after every bitch slapping, and then all of a sudden, something rather peculiar happened. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we might not get an encounter. Ooh, legendary encounter. Legendary, come on. Let's get a shiny Mewtwo. Come on. Oh, yeah, finally caught a Mewtwo. It's not shiny, but hey, it's a fucking Mewtwo. Let's go.
Yup, our next encounter was a flippin' Mewtwo. Of course, we named it after Alex, aka Surprise Hunters, another amazing content creator and a great friend of mine. So before heading into Burnt Tower, I made some changes to the team, replacing Luffy with Killy and Spec with our Meganium. I did feel bad about boxing our starter, but Meganium had Download. In Burnt Tower, our encounter was this, when it could have been this. We caught the fart nugget, took on our happy rival again, and scared the legendary dogs that made me look like cats into running off. Now it's gym time. Leading with Maddie, our Meganium, we headed into the gym to face the self-proclaimed hero of Ecruteak, Morty. The only Pokemon that put up a fight of Morty's was a Heatran. The Killy came in clutch and held his own in this epic battle of fire freaks, finishing off the battle with a clutch Killy crit. Well, this hero didn't stand a chance because we walked away with a shiny new fog badge. We went ahead and defeated the Team Rocket Grunt, who obviously had one too many to drink and got surfed from the old man that that likes watching the kimono girls dance. Nothing out of the ordinary in this scenario. Then we made our way to Olivine City. Went ahead and skipped our encounter for Route 39 at that point because I hadn't opened up a pack, and we headed straight to the lighthouse where gym leader Jasmine was quarantined with Ampharos. They must have had the C word. Too bad I didn't have your mask. Before heading over to grab the COVID vaccine from Scionwood, because apparently you're everyone's errand boy in this game, we headed back to Route 39 to get our encounter when we ran into Entei. And this was the Entei, not a randomized Entei, who of course fled like a
Bitch.
But we did get our encounter, which happened to be a Girafarig with a randomized ability Shadow Tag, so I took that as a sign. With Surf on deck, we set sail for Signwood. We ended up catching this surfing Raichu who I named Chuko. As soon as I hit land, I switched out OPB. Sorry OPB. Chuko had Sniper. Can you blame me? Then we grabbed the sus secret potion from the drug dealer, battled Eugene, who is disturbingly obsessed with Suicune, and got ready to take on Chuck. Chuck led with a Magnezone, who was more trouble than I anticipated. Barely hanging on, Maddie was able to bring it down. His second mon was a Bronzong, which was surprisingly difficult to take down as well. Lucci and even Alice struggled a bit against his giant bell. Finally sent in Killy, who's been coming in clutch for us, and he came through with another clutch Killy crit. The storm badge was ours. We then hurried back to the lighthouse to give Ampharos the COVID vaccine so Jasmine can get her ass back to the gym. Jasmine's first mons were simple to defeat, but her Scizor, which is pretty ironic that she'd end with the steel type, was a pain in my applin. But of course, Clutch Killy ended that Scizor's reign, and we got the mineral badge. We headed in Mount Mortar where we got a Kabutops as an encounter, and making our way through the rest of the cave, something unexpected happened. Check this out.
Let's go. Let's get this Master Ball. Yo! Let's fucking go! We finally got a Master Ball. We finally called it. Let's go. That's the fucking thumbnail right there.
Well, that Master Ball must have been a gift from Arceus himself, because on the other side of the cave, our encounter was a flippin' Arceus that had download as well. And even though we just found a Master Ball, I wanted to try to catch this, so I went for a poison. I kept chunking balls as poison slowly whittled it down. Ball after ball, it didn't seem like I was gonna catch this. And poison was doing its job, so I was running out of time. It was at this point I knew I couldn't risk it anymore and went for the Master Ball to catch this legendary beast. We made it to Mahogany Town and headed towards Lake of Rage for our guaranteed shiny encounter, and ended up running into Entei again on Route 43. And of course he ran away again, but a little bit after this happened.
Let's go. Yo! Let's freaking go! Yo, Entei is giving us a sign, bro. He's giving us a sign. This is the second Master Ball, and I think this is the second time we ran into Entei.
We didn't get an encounter on Route 43 on our way up to the lake, but I was still excited to get our shiny encounter, which ended up being a Steelix and luckily matched our typings. And luckily we were able to catch this bad boy, and I had just given up hope on Route 43 when we actually ended up running into a Gibble. Now this little Gibble was doing massive damage to all of our Pokemon and gave me quite a few scares. I ended up poisoning it, trying to whittle it down, hoping we'd catch him before he dies. And then he started going for Double Edge. Starting to feel like this Gibble isn't worth all this trouble, we ended up finally catching him and naming him Gilbert. It was time to meet up with Lance to take on Team Rocket, where Lance literally has his Pokemon murder someone and barges in like a G. After making it through all the unbearable Team Rocket grunt battles, we finally made it to Patel, where he was dressed up like Giovanni, and headed into battle. Of course, we took out his first couple of Pokemon with ease. Then he sent out this thing. He ate that up pretty good. Sludge. Come on, Chuko, you got... No, and he got poison. No, Chuko. Chuko's gonna get hurt by poison and die, isn't he? No! Chuko! Our first loss. Archie finished off this wannabe Grimer, and we went on to take on Ariana Grande, where of course we swept through that battle with the help of Lance. not really. Coming off a fresh L, we headed over to the next gym to take on Bryce for our next gym badge. Bryce ended up not being too hard with a Dunsparce, Heracross, and a Quillfish who ended up killing itself with its own Sandstorm. We added the Glacier badge to our collection and headed back to Goldenrod City to take on Team Rocket again. We met with Bill to get our Eevee encounter, which ended up being another Gibble. Picked up some new threads from the nicest Team Rocket grunt ever, and we were looking pretty fresh, might I add. And of course we ran into Gay, our rival, who blew our cover by literally undressing us in the middle of the lobby. Just slowly walk away. Quietly. Finally got to Patel playing dress up again, and ooh, I was out for blood. Of course, this time around we swept through his whole team like a Snorlax at a buffet. Of course, we took on our happy rival again, which wasn't too difficult, but it was the next battle with his mommy that was definitely gonna leave us scarred. Mama Bear must have heard that I've been kicking her son's ass because she came to play. She started off with the Mew, and of course I led with Archie, which was a bad idea. We all know what Mews like to do. They like to fucking transform. This monster we created one-shot Archie and was scaring the shit out of me because it was up like in 4 special attack. I sent in Maddie, and of course he got one-shotted as well. Alice came out next, and I was so scared that she was gonna die, but luckily she took this monster down. Finally defeating Ariana, we had to move on to our next Team Rocket battle with Archer. But down by 2 Mons, I was a bit intimidated, not gonna lie. But luckily, his team was ass, and we were able to sweep through it without losing any other teammates. We next hit up Ice Path after replacing our fallen comrades, adding Spec and Lucci back to the team. And in Ice Path, our encounter was a Rosalia. Yeah, and then this happened. Way to get this Master Ball. 3rd Master Ball. Yo! And at the end of the cave, I really wanted this randomized item, but might be something good. I won't give up. I won't.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
I give up. Whatever, let's just get at it. But we finally made it out of Ice Path into Blackthorn City. We hit up Blackthorn City's Pokemon Center and made some changes before heading into our last gym challenge. Spec finally evolved while battling the gym's trainers, gaining the new randomized ability Rockhead. Not the greatest, but it's not the worst. Now it was time to take on the last gym leader, Claire. After she flashes her booty, we went on to sweep through her team. Unfortunately, she wasn't as much of a challenge as I thought she was going to be. Of course, Karen Claren is too overprivileged and doesn't hand over the badge right away and send us over to the Dragon Den. We got a Mankey in the body of water just before the Dragon's Den and named it Mkay, because why not, okay? We didn't get our encounter right away in the den, so we headed straight to the old man to ace our test with flying colors. Claire finally gave us our well-deserved rising badge. Just as we were about to head out, I decided to grab another potential Master Ball that we passed up. I went ahead to face the evil little twins to see what that randomized item may be. These little freaks literally had the devil Pokemon with them, who in fact murdered Gilbert with a one-shot. Hoping Alice would eat a hit, I sent her in to Dragon Rage this Pokedemon, but she unfortunately fell to this monster as well. I sent in Lucci to aid Killy. Finally, this dynamic duo was able to put an end to this devil Pokemon's reign. And the item we received was a flippin' Everstone. Of course, after that L, we had to make some changes to the team, adding our female Goodbite, Gilberta, that we got from Bill earlier in the game, and Mike the Suicune. We headed back over to the Kimono Girls, where we were able to sweep through the back-to-back battles with the Kimono Girls without losing anyone, and now activated the Lugia event. Before moving on, we headed back to a few routes to get some missed encounters. Back on Route 45, we didn't run into anything until we got down to this body of water, where we finally found a mon to match our typing. We went back to the Devil's Den to get a fishing encounter since we didn't get any surfing, and we actually ended up getting a Dialga as our encounter. Not bad. We next hit up Dark Cave, where we got a Deoxys as our encounter. We got it down to 1 HP with Spec's False Swipe, but it still refused to be caught. We were running through Pokeballs like no tomorrow. As I was aggressively spamming the A button, I threw a Pokeball when I should have healed Spec. Unfortunately, our starter went down to this alien bastard. Not wanting Specs' death to be in vain, I kept chunking Pokeballs, hoping that we could catch it, and I was just frustrated, debating whether or not to kill this thing or to capture it. I finally decided to just chunk a Master Ball at it and capture it in the name of Spec. We headed into Whirl Islands where we only had one type, but we ended up running into an Arcanine, which was pretty sick, so I was excited to get it. Switching out Lucci, I sent in our new shiny Nugget. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that we caught a shiny Pokemon in our live stream? It's flashback time!
Okay. Nope. Oh, come on, buddy. Give us a shiny. I know the odds of us getting the shiny are very slim, but I really am hoping, you know, our first hunt we'll get lucky. I really am hoping our first hunt we'll get lucky and get a shiny. Get a shiny Ray Ray. We want the shiny Ray Ray. We got a shiny. Let's go! We got a shiny. It's not the one we wanted, but it's a shiny. Wow. First ever shiny hunt, and we get a shiny. Not even, what? Not even an hour in. We're not even an hour in. Not even 30 minutes in. Not even 30 minutes in, and we got our shiny. I don't know. Come on. Yo, let's go! We're gonna name him Nugget. That's right, we're gonna name him Nugget.
So that's how we ended up with this shiny Combuskin. Anyways, back to the capture. Of course, right when we send in Nugget, Arcanine used Roar, and there goes our encounter. We finally made it to the end where we were going to encounter our guaranteed legendary, which unfortunately only had one typing as well, and didn't match our type. I was a little bummed about it, but it's alright. Now it's time to head over to Victory Road, and in Tojo Falls we unfortunately didn't get our typing, but on the next route we did end up getting a Lugia. Of course I threw a Master Ball to catch this amazing beast. Unfortunately, after this we ended up having to replay through several episodes because I ended up losing my save files. We did all of this on the live, and fortunately we were able to get our encounter this time around in Tojo Falls, which ended up being Apom. Since I murdered it the first time we ran into it, I had to catch it with the Master Ball and named it Gato G. Of course we got the Lugia again, and the next Victory Road we had to open up a pack, and our typings ended up being Electric, Poison, and Grass. After a while, we finally ended up catching our encounter and headed on to face our rival one last time. He started off with a Celebi, and I was a bit scared, but we did kill it. But it seems like Mama Bear must have sent her murderous Mew. We did end up losing OPB in this process, but fortunately this Mew never transformed. So fortunately we were able to beat our rival one last time without losing any of our Pokemon. We made it out of Victory Road, and there was one more encounter episode that I was going to post before the Elite Four, but I unfortunately lost it because my computer shit on me in the middle of editing. But we did end up getting our Safari Zone encounter and a couple of other routes around that area. This is the team we're taking in. Alright, we're going to take Lugia here, aka Muffin. We got him holding Zoom Lens. With the Booty Butt Cheeks ability, the Runaway. We got Gilberta holding Razor Fang. We're taking Alex the Mewtwo with Kenai holding the Amulet Coin. We got Squirter holding Leftovers with Suction Cups. Negates foes' moves that force switching out. Okay. And we're going to take Ampere holding Magnet. And we got to take our boy Lucci with an Amulet Coin. So let's go ahead and switch that item out. We need to. Pretty confident in our lineup, we headed in to face the Elite Four. Up first, of course, was the Psychic Psycho Will, who led with a Zapdos. Full faith that Muffin could eat at least one hit, I stayed in. Unfortunately, Muffin got one shot by Zappy Boy, and just like that we took a huge L on our first turn in. Alex was able to take down the Zapdos along with his next Pokemon, a Pupitar. Will then sends out this beastie tank Kyogre that sets up an Aqua Ring. Unfortunately, this beast was doing more damage than our Mewtwo Alex. I decided to switch into our own tanky water boy, Squirtle, to try and take down this Kyogre. Squirtle was matching its power and defense, while his leftovers was matching its Aqua Ring. The big boy water bash was over, and we easily beat the next couple of Mons, and Will was defeated. Next, we had to take on Koga. Koga led with a Milotic that was more intimidating than it looks. I decided to switch into Amp, and it's like Koga predicted the switch in, but we still decimated his Duskull. Lucci took out the Torterra, Amp laid the smackdown on him only, and finished off the Milotic. His last Pokemon was a Magneton, and Lucci was able to two-shot it. Koga has fallen. Next up was the fighting fiend Bruno. He led with a Tropius that used Whirlwind to drag out Gilberta. Of course, Gilberta wasn't phased by this banana neck Brachiosaurus. Next, another freaking Kyogre came out, but luckily Amp was able to kill it. Lucci took out his Exploud and Trico, and Amp came back in to finish off his last Mon. Bruno got knocked the fuck out. Next in line was the freaky dark Karen. You can just tell she's a freak. Who led with Drowsy, who Alex took down with no sweat. Her second Mon I was thinking was a Venomoth for some reason, and sent in Amp, but he was still able to squash this bug. Her next Mon was a Gorbis, who was actually doing massive damage to Amp, so I switched into Squirtle. Next she sent in a Magmar, who Squirtle obviously overpowered, and her last Mon was a Feebas, and Karen was defeated. Last but not least was the champ himself, Lance. His first Pokemon was a Crocodile who almost killed our Amp, but Amp got a one-shot off thankfully. Next he sent in a Heracross that kinda scared me at first, but I set up some barriers to cushion some hits. This Beetle was eating up hits too, so it took a bit, but Alex was able to take out the Heracross. He sent out an Ivysaur who I extremely underestimated. This thing was packing a powerful double edge that almost one-shot. I ended up staying in, just kept spamming heals, and let Ivysaur finish itself off with its own recoil damage. And that's exactly what happened. His next Mon was a Stantler who Lucci of course took out with ease, and his fifth Pokemon was a Mr. Mime on steroids, almost doing half damage to Gilberta. I knew Squirtle would take those hits like a champ, so I sent him in to flatten this baby mime from hell. Unfortunately for Lance, his last Pokemon was a baby as well, who Mr. Angerpoint had no issue smacking up.
Get in my belly!
With Lance's last Pokemon gone, we were the new champions. We headed in to register our winning team of veterans and newcomers into the Hall of Fame. And we only made it this far because of all of our Pokemon, veterans and newcomers included, including the ones that we lost along the way. Big special thanks to our team here. Alex, our Mewtwo, Gilberta, our Garchomp, Lucci, our Lucario, Squirtle, the Blastoise, Amp, the Ampharos, and Muffin, the Lugia. Victory was ours, and of course Muffin is back there hiding in shame for dying on the first turn in. It's alright Muffin, we still love you. And just like that, we completed our first ever Nuzlocke run, and the world's first ever TCG Nuzlocke. Hope you all enjoyed watching, maybe one day you can give this a try. Thank you so much for sticking around, I love each and every single one of you. Stay chill, and I'll see you on the next one.